So as you guys know, I was definitely on the forefront of covering the MrBeast allegations as that stuff was coming out, and I think there are a lot of good criticisms made.
I've heard a lot of rumors.
Yeah, right.
But like nothing that's like substantial. It's just more like.
And I don't think he's pure evil or anything like that.
No.
I just think people need to look past the philanthropy, which is solely designed for his own benefit.
But today we're going to talk about some criticisms that I think are interesting, some that I think are less important. Yeah, look at this is like scary. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's like maybe he is the Antichrist. And also just kind of talk about the backlash that people may or may not get from talking about MrBeast and if that really matters or is something to be worried about. So, yeah, enjoy. There's this guy, he made a video called The Awful Truth About YouTube's Biggest Influencers. Now, I've seen this guy before because he had talked about, abroad in Japan, had gone to some rants about how MrBeast sucks, right? About how he hates MrBeast. CDogVA and Chris Broad give their opinion about the MrBeast situation. And then I think he's saying here he lost some kind of connections or something, but I don't know exactly what it is. So I'm kind of curious to see what's actually going on here. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with the initial comments he made about it. I think this is one of the, I think he's affiliated with Trash Taste. I don't know if he's actually on that show, but he basically has talked MrBeast and then made a follow-up video about it a little while later. So this, keep in mind this video, we're going to watch this from the height of the drama, but I'm curious what he has to say about MrBeast.
The MrBeast thing where he rented out the theater to eat his Lunchable.
Dude, this was funny. I'm sorry. This was funny. MrBeast doing this at the peak of his controversy. You know, hate him all you want, but doing a video when you're at the height of your controversy, a video that is point of view, you rent out a theater to watch Tuah, listen to Thick of It by KSI, and eat Lunchly. This video is hilarious, okay? This video is like the funniest way to respond to controversy of all time, all right? That unironic, you know, one-time Chad move. Funniest thing you can possibly do. I can't hate on that too much. It's just too funny.
And watch the Tuah podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know Tuah? Do you know the Tuah girl?
Yeah, I know. Gotta give me that Tuah.
What did you think about MrBeast's generational fall off?
What do you think first, Because I have very strong opinions, but I've kept them shielded for 3 years.
Shielded? You haven't kept them...
I mean, anyone that thinks MrBeast is about anything other than making himself the richest YouTuber in the world has missed something. I mean, I've had chats with all sorts of YouTubers behind the scenes in the years.
Yeah.
I've met his manager, Reed, 2 years ago. I had a video call. He's left him. I had a call with his manager, Reed, a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And he was nice enough, but they were very much like, how can you make us more money? And I was like, I mean, I like to make videos that are fun and educational. And like, yeah, but money. That's all we care about. And they were coming over at the time when Mr.
I mean, I don't think that money is a bad thing to be concerned with if you're making YouTube content. I will say, if you're making content that's only focused on money, and it's the only thing you care about, and none of your personality is in it, like with MrBeast, you do lose that sort of audience that actually is loyal to you as a person, which is why, as soon as people found out that MrBeast, you know, whether all the allegations are true or not, which a lot of them were untrue, when they found out that, like, oh, he actually, you know, kind of isn't this like amazing virtuous dude all the time, you know, he's more middle of the road than being some kind of like perfect soul. They immediately were just like, all right, this guy sucks, right? This guy sucks. But the benefit that he gets from that is the people who don't care about his, you know, personality and watch his content just for the absolute brain rot he posts. Those people that watch his stuff, they don't care about any of the drama, right? Like the biggest video on MrBeast got like 17 million views, right? No matter what, no matter how many, even if it got 20 million, 25 million, right? No matter how many views that gets, MrBeast videos average like 100 million views per upload. So realistically speaking, it is not going to really matter to the average person. Even, look, post-controversy, right? This video got 139 million views. This one got 153 million. These are major numbers. These are better numbers than he had for the video that he released before the controversy, which is, I think, the Identical Twins one, as far as I'm aware. That was before it all went down, really. Oh, no, wait. No, these are all during the controversy. My bad. This was the one he released during it. This was the latest video pre-controversy that came out. 50 YouTubers fight for $1 million. Oh, he changed the thumbnail on that one, too. Did he go back and change all the... It looks like he changed a lot of them to reflect his weight loss, actually, because he got unfat. He lost like 15 pounds, 20 pounds. It looks like he changed the thumbnails to Skinny MrBeast now to reflect his current appearance, which is funny. But yeah, he's gotten back on top. He's back in the game. None of these viewers give a shit about any of the controversy around MrBeast.
If this subscriber...
Like, I love how all the pros were so kind to their opponents. True sportsmanship. These people are not watching Dogpack 404. They're not watching more Pegasus. It does not matter to them. MrBeast is big enough that the masses do not care about the Delaware allegation or what Chris Tyson was up to, right? No adults genuinely watch his content. The thing is, and here's the pill you're going to have to swallow, there are a lot of adults who watch MrBeast. There just are. You can say they're dumb. You can say they're low IQ. You can say they watch brain rot content. But there are a lot of adults that watch MrBeast. His viewers are not all children. That's just not the case. It's just not. There are plenty of boomers. There are plenty of even people in their 20s and 30s who, you know, they're not thinking in depth about the controversies of MrBeast. They're just throwing on the latest YouTube slop to see MrBeast do a collab with Ronaldo. Okay? They don't care.
The Beast had just overtaken PewDiePie and stuff.
Right.
And that day, after the call with Reed, I was going surfing with Felix.
Yeah.
You know, when I could get into a bathing suit, not anymore. Bodysuit. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm actually.
MrBeast mogs this guy. MrBeast works out. He's on the grind. This guy can't even fit into his swimsuit.
Actually going to see Felix in a minute, and they were like, you know, we want to have MrBeast, Jimmy come over, and we're gonna have this we want to do like a handoff, where like, you know, from one YouTuber to the next, to the top of their game. And I was like, this just sounds the most pretentious thing I've ever heard. Oh yeah, great.
True.
And like, of course Felix wants that. Come on over and just, you know, hand some sort of weird trophy or something. I was just very lame. I remember talking to Felix. I was like, this is just so lame now.
I mean,
is this all YouTube is now?
Yeah,
is it all just money?
Yeah,
is
well,
that
mostly. Yeah, mostly.
and then he teamed up, and then, you know,
I think this idea that that's all YouTube is now is dumb. I think that you're going to have that opinion, though, if you're an old head YouTuber who's been doing content for 15 years and you see these guys like MrBeast blow up past you. In reality, all that's happened is you still have the guys who are personality based. Like, there are plenty of big creators. There are plenty of big streamers on YouTube who do make content explicitly about their personality and make a lot of money doing it. IShowSpeed, Kai Cenat, some of the biggest people in the world are on YouTube, right? They do huge streams. They do huge videos. They get a ton of views. Queso uploads YouTube videos every single day. He gets a ton of views. But obviously, someone who's personality based and who, you know, is very appealing in that way, no matter what, there's still going to be people who see their personality and are like, not for me. He yells too much. He's annoying. I don't like him, right? But what you also have on YouTube now is people who their content is devoid of personality. You watch a MrBeast video, you're not going to learn anything about what his opinions are, what his priorities are, apart from the fact that his priority is YouTube as a whole. That's about it, right? You're not going to learn what movies he likes, what games he plays. You're not going to get any of that. What you're going to get is a well-edited, well-produced video that is devoid of that kind of personality and boils content down to the most notable factors that are appealing to the average human psychology, right? So like these guys who are kind of old head YouTubers, they have this cynicism around it. They're not going to like that, and that's perfectly fine. I don't really like MrBeast content. I would probably rather watch these guys over MrBeast. Even though I don't watch their stuff, I would probably rather watch theirs, you know, over MrBeast, right? But now you have both options on YouTube, realistically. Now you have both options. And it used to be just the one, really, where YouTube hadn't been boiled down to such a science. Tell me what difference between 4chan and 8chan is. Does 8chan even exist anymore? I think 8chan doesn't exist as far as I'm aware.
He teamed up with Logan Paul, and that tells you what you need to know. Literally, he teamed up with Logan Paul, the biggest... Can I say the C word?
Yeah.
Like, biggest f***ing there is, right? I mean, everybody seems to have forgotten what a massive Logan Paul is.
Well, I mean,
right?
it's bad.
I don't think they forgot. It's more so that the average person just doesn't care or have time to care. Like, look at, okay, the biggest commentary channel in the world, I think, is probably Moist Critical, right? He's got 16 million subscribers. He is huge. He is a massive YouTuber. He has a massive audience. The biggest YouTuber in the world is MrBeast, who has 300 million. These are not even comparable people. Critical, as big as he is a blip on a map, okay? He is a figment of people's imagination, okay? When you get to that high level of YouTube, he does not exist. And the average person does not care, okay? The average person wants to watch Marvel movies, okay? They want to watch The Avengers 12. What they don't want to watch is some avant-garde French film with subtitles about the depths and truths behind capitalism, right? Like, this is just how the average person works, and that's just normal. That is just normal. That's something you have to, that's a pill you kind of have to swallow, right? It's kind of really depressing that the highest viewed stuff is garbage, rotting kids' brains, but that's how it's always been, is the thing. Like, this is not a new phenomenon. Maybe it's a new phenomenon on YouTube to some people, but the thing is, like, back in the day, what was the highest viewed stuff? It was like PewDiePie playing Amnesia screaming. Like, this is not like some kind of like high effort art piece. It was just like him screaming. I can still find it depressing. I mean, you can, but I choose to not. I choose to rather just accept the reality of the situation, which is that the average person does not care. They do not care, you know?
If he's not filming somebody who's recently taken their own life, literally hanging from a tree in the forest and making it about themselves, somebody who is
Even that, the average person sees that and they're like, oh, that sucks, and they forget in a week because they don't have time to be constantly thinking about what Logan Paul did. They don't. There's not enough time in the day. They're going to move on after hearing about that, and in a year they're going to see a Logan Paul video. They're like, oh, good video. They don't even remember what he did in Japan, right? They don't even remember.
Exploited their viewers through cryptocurrency scams. Somebody who's I saw a video of him like pushing his own dog off a boat the other day. And I don't know if you can debate, did the dog jump of his own accord? Was it pushed? I don't know, but it looked...
I find everything in humanity depressing if I think on it too long. Well, that's a very toxic mentality, to use a girl word. That's a very toxic mentality that will make you miserable in the long term. If you only think about the most negative aspects of humanity, you probably will be a miserable person. But there are plenty of good things that people do in this world. There are plenty of good humans that exist doing cool stuff that you can appreciate. But if you're spending all your time thinking about how, this guy sucks and this guy sucks, why would you not be a miserable person? You need to seek out things that make you less miserable if that is the case.
Pretty sinister. And you shouldn't be partnering with these sort of people.
It is an odd choice. He does seem to love Logan a lot, and it business-wise.
But you and I know behind the scenes, you've heard bad things about MrBeast for years. I don't think.
Yeah, you hear rumors.
You've told me rumors.
I've heard a lot of rumors.
Yeah, right.
But, nothing that's substantial. It's just more like.
And I don't think he's he's pure evil or anything like that.
No.
I just think people need to look past the philanthropy, which is solely designed for his own benefit. It's kind of like it's an incredible defensive system where. Yeah. If you donate money and do some great things, and he has done great things, we can't deny that. If you can use that really as a sort of deterrent for any criticism, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. It's not.
Question for the chat. How manipulative do you think that MrBeast is? Do you think that he did the charity with the sole intention of making himself look good in the public eye so that it would dispel criticism about him? Because ultimately, in the end, it didn't really work. A lot of people still hate him, despite the charity making him look kind of good, right? A lot of people don't really care. And honestly, I don't see that many people. Maybe this is the silent majority of people, but I haven't seen a lot of people be like, well, despite what MrBeast did, he still donated to charity, so he's a good person. I don't think that the majority of people care that much about that. Obviously, it looks good on paper to be like, oh, MrBeast gives a lot of money to charity. He's a good guy. But I don't think that many people are actively thinking about the morality of the people they're watching on YouTube at all. I don't think they're thinking about anything regarding that at all. I think they're just like, oh, new MrBeast video with Ronaldo. Click, watch, get off, go eat mac and cheese and go to bed, jerk off. I don't think this is a big concern in their minds. Everything he does is manipulative, but it's subtle enough for people not to care. I don't think everything he does is manipulative, though. I don't think so, to be honest. I'm guessing it's probably 10% more manipulative than the average person. I mean, if you're succeeding at that level, there definitely is some amount of quote unquote manipulation that you're doing, but it's not necessarily an extremely insidious thing. It's more just so is it manipulative to edit out your personality of content to present yourself in a certain way? I mean, technically, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Because you're just trying to make your videos as appealing as possible. He's purely business-minded in everything he does. He was strategic as heck about the response when dudes started calling him out, and it worked perfect. Well, the thing, why wouldn't you be is the thing. Why would you not? If somebody's accusing you of major crimes, right? Why would you not be, and you're running a major business with hundreds of employees, why would you not try to be as careful as possible? Why would you not try to be calculated? I think that makes sense. You got to, when you're at MrBeast level, the 48 Laws of Power is a book you're going to be cracking into a lot. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is what you prioritize. Not everybody is prioritizing how good MrBeast looks or even thinking about it. That's it. It's not a concern for them. The people that care are such a small minority relative to the average amount of people who are watching MrBeast.
Yeah, the philanthropy it always feels like it's there as a barrier.
Thanks for the donut, missing link.
Criticism. And now that has stopped working because people have seen past that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because philanthropy is always a tough one because obviously at the end of the day, it's still good even if.
Of course.
He's using it as a shield. You're like, all right, well, he's still doing it, But it's definitely, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. It feels like it is being used as a tool in some senses, but it's so hard to distinguish when it isn't, right? Because even if it is, it's well, it's still.
It is hard to distinguish because you'll probably never hear MrBeast say out loud, you shouldn't criticize me because I donate to charity. Even if, let's say, hypothetically, that is something that he's thought in his mind, I've done so much good, why would you care about the fact that I did this or this or this or there's this allegation? He's never going to say that. So it's you're kind of just trying to read his mind beyond that point, You're really just trying to read into his intentions, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Still a good thing. It's hard to use that as a point against him, but
I don't know. Like Jacksepticeye when he did the comment years ago. It was about a year ago now, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I hate how YouTube's about this and that. And then Mr. Beast went off on one, and they had to sort of apologise. But deep down, Jack, that's what he really thinks. And recently, with recent events, he's come back out and been like...
I think what Jack said was that he felt that MrBeast was ruining YouTube because it became more about money and success and views than anything. But I always found that comment to be kind of cringe because, like, at the end of the day, what is the point of making YouTube videos? It is to get views and make money, right? If you didn't care about that, you would just make videos for your dad and send him the video file. So like, you know, I don't think it's inherently bad to want to get views on YouTube at all. And it's not like MrBeast did fundamentally change the way that YouTube is, in that there's a lot of people now copying him, and that he changed it from, like, you know, in a way at least, it became like, okay, well, you know, you can get this big on YouTube, you can take your personality out completely. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is just kind of like a difference in content preference. Like I don't give a about watching the new MrBeast video. I would much rather watch a more personal video or a more well-researched video essay than that. But, you know, there's different viewer priorities out there, realistically.
I mean, I actually, funny enough, when that happened,
you were with him, weren't you?
The day that happened, I had dinner with Sean and Jack. I always call him Jack as well, but I just call him Jack.
Have you seen what MrBeast does with advert timers on the bottom of the screen? Yeah, I don't care about that at all. People are like, it's so manipulative that he deceives people by making the bar slow down when it gets to a certain point so they'll watch the whole ad. It's like, this is really a problem for you? This is a concern? This is like bothering you that much that he puts a little... I'm going to start doing it on my ads just to piss people off.
He was, to me, like, obviously, he's so mature and so chill. He was just like, I just don't want to deal with this. This is not what...
Because wrestling videos are boring? That's true, they are. Well, I still find it entertaining, but yeah, it is more boring than seeing someone get their face broken with a fist.
What I wanted it to be. Like, this is... I don't want to have this fall out.
But it you know, and you can
but
tell...
I think, you know, it's aged well. The clip's aged well.
It's aged very well. You know,
Did you see the logo?
But we're fine, honestly, but I'm glad it's reached this point.
Yeah, Logan Paul with the Tommy in it. Do you know Tommy?
Yeah, I saw Tommy.
That's very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
He's arguing.
I saw
leaking DMs. Which I feel like if you have to leak DMs, you've already kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that's slimy if you're showing off DMs. I'm like, come on, man. We're all adults.
Yeah, and there's other things I could talk about this. Things I've seen, heard, read behind the scenes through people I know.
Also, for all the people calling Tommy in it, they're like, you're so base, you own Logan Paul. It's like, Logan did get very upset over a very minimal joke that Tommy made, and Logan is cringe. But at the same time, Tommy Innit was cool with Logan Paul for years. He was texting him. He was fanboying him in his DMs. Okay, he was. And when it became convenient again to shit on him, he decided to do it. Okay, he, for years, was glazing him behind the scenes. He knew about the Forest thing. He knew about all of it. He didn't care. Tom, sorry for the MMA comment. I need to buy my dog a wheelchair, and I'm scared my wife's husband may be upset about it. Well, you got to do what you got to do for the dog.
But, like, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I've been waiting to say things a long time about that.
I feel like generally a good rule of thumb is that if you see a creator who seems like they have a lot of friends, they hang out with a lot of people, they're normally a bit more well-adjusted, I think. There's a certain group of people or creators that you interact with, and you're like, makes a lot of sense now why people didn't really hang out with them much.
Yeah,
but also that doesn't mean you have to hang out with people.
I can
bash MrBeast and Logan Paul on stream.
People can donate to
God.
So they can see the Jacksepticeye article now.
Fuck's sake.
And they'll be like, Chris, no,
Time for some blowback.
No, because look, at the end of the day, saying Logan Paul's an asshole is not a
Logan
hot
Paul.
take.
I mean,
also,
yeah.
he does WWE.
Tommy backstabbing him for likes? Yeah, it seems that way to me. Like, Tommy, to be clear, you know, I don't particularly like Logan Paul. In fact, I don't like him. And Tommy Innit, I have no real attachment to. I think it's funny if he wants to on Logan Paul. I don't feel bad for Logan, but like Tommy had been glazing him behind the scenes for years. Okay, he had been. And he's just started leaking these random DMs as soon as he thought it. Well, actually, didn't Logan leak the DMs? Logan leaked it, I think. So shit on Logan for that. But from the leaked DMs, what we saw was like, despite the controversies with CryptoZoo, despite the controversy with the Forest thing, Tommy Innit was like super supportive of Logan Paul, messaging him all the time, right? Oh my God, let's hang out, bro. And then as soon as he thought it would get him a bunch of Twitter likes, he was like, I'm going to shit on him. And I think part of that is probably Tommy's calculated move to be a more edgy creator. But I remember I saw that, I was like, bro, you knew what you were doing here the whole time. I don't speak British, me neither.
WWE. And a lot of people say, like, it's so annoying that he's very good. He's very, very good at WWE. It's his credit. But they're doing a world tour right now. Yeah. And he's too busy to do the Japan leg. So he's not doing that.
You see when his wife was giving birth to his baby and he was like, Prime by Prime. Yeah, Lunchley.
That was crazy. That was absolutely insane. That was, dude, I don't know. There is something about that where it's like, where is Logan Paul has like no humanity left. If he's like, when his child is being born, he's making sure that when he posts pictures, he has Lunchley in the photo. Like, come on, bro. Like, he promoted his product while his wife was in labor and promoted Prime too. It was like, man, why can you just take one moment to not promote a product for 1 second? Go on, bro.
No, what was the one where
it made me wish the internet had never been born?
He did the Trump interview where he talked about Gaza and then promoted Prime right in the middle of it.
Oh my god!
Do me a favor,
Just,
eat a
who
family chicken
watches
for me.
this guy anyway? It's just and like I might go in more depth on it.
It's
but
tragic.
it's it's even we might have a million or two followers, but even talking about such large creators, MrBeast, I think you'll find a lot of creators are very scared to do that because he has a very scary, rabid fan base.
I mean, I don't think if
He has a scary, rabid fan base. You're worried about like a few MrBeast fans commenting that you suck, really? I honestly don't think that's a concern for people now, for sure. I mean, that's definitely, if that was the case, people were terrified to criticize him. I feel like they're more terrified to criticize him because they think it might cut off their business connection. I don't think you're scared of like children commenting on your video. That's on you. That's on you. Okay, that's not my fault. That's not MrBeast's fault. That's on you. People make the MrBeast fans will be mean. Whatever. Who cares? Get off your phone. It's the internet.
if I was in a MrBeast video, it would change anything. I don't, you know, if I, you know, I think it's cool, you know, like the 50 creators thing, you see that, you're like, oh, that's awesome, but
do you know?
I wouldn't want to go to North Carolina.
What annoyed me? So remember the kids' blindness thing?
Oh,
He cured blindness, right? He cured blindness.
I know why I'm laughing at that. It's just the thumbnail. The thumbnail is so demonic.
Here's the
I love
dilemma.
it. I love
Like,
it.
it's one of those things. On the one hand, brilliant. He,
Yeah.
you know, helped kids deal with blindness, which
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
great. I kind of, you can picture the meeting, having met his manager and talked to people behind it.
Yeah.
You can picture that meeting, how it went in a room
Oh,
in North Carolina. We need to make more money. The team's got bigger. We need to increase our revenue by like 10%. Who's got some awesome ideas out here? And they went, oh, what if we do bomb a truck and throw a train off a cliff? We'll do it. Any others? Oh, cure blindness. We could like cure 100 kids blindness.
Yeah.
And that's the one. That's going to get the headlines. And
Yeah.
that is how it's not like he read an article and went, man, this issue is really bad.
I do empathize with people who think that thumbnail is demonic, because it's like, just the thumbnail alone, you see this. Yeah, look at this, is like scary. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's like, maybe he is the Antichrist. This thumbnail is just, it f***ed me up, dude. You've got the old lady crying in the thumbnail with MrBeast smiling behind it. It's just something about it that looks, it's so artificial. It's like, yeah, it's Uncanny Valley for sure. I just see this and I'm like, how is this real? How is this the world I live in right now? It just wears me out.
If we could make a documentary covering this topic about blindness that could be cured,
Yeah.
that's the way to tackle it. A man in his position with billion subscribers, whatever it is, 300 million,
Yeah.
can make a really well-made documentary. He could cure blindness in 100 kids and still...
That's true, but at the same time, people don't want to watch a well-made documentary. The average person does not care. What they want to watch is an 8-minute video where MrBeast is like, I cured 1,000 children from blindness and pulled children out of Africa to give them lunch bar. Like, that's what they want to watch. The average person doesn't want to watch a well-made documentary. If he had made an hour-long well-made documentary on his channel, it would not do as well. If he doesn't have this thumbnail, it's not going to do as well. People click it. That's the problem. The problem, really, with a lot of this stuff should be like, the average person is clicking this, dude. The average person likes it. The average person loves this thumbnail. They click, they're like, oh my God, I see a granny crying with a bandage on her head, MrBeast smiling while he touches her shoulder, sniffs her hair. They're like, oh, that's good. That's good. They like it. They love it.
have the click-through rate that he demands and actually cover the subject in a serious matter. And yet, it was not that. It was, cure the blindness, done, yeah. Got my money, here's the sponsor, well, hey, done. Money, sorted, go.
It's a shame because I feel that...
That's the thought process.
Yeah.
How do we make the money? Reverse engineer it. We make an article or title a video.
I don't think they have
Kids
sponsors
curing
for that,
blindness. And when he covers a topic, it could be water in Africa,
Yeah.
clearing a beach. Noble acts, no doubt about it. You can tell he doesn't really care. It's just you turn up, make a quick video, back on a private jet to North Carolina, because it's not a documentary. He never has that one-on-one. I don't know. It's just.
Well, I think the
It's
reason why
just-
I don't like a lot of those is that it does feel like creatively like void as well. Like there's nothing like this.
Oh, it is creatively void. It is. I mean, there's creativity that goes into it, but the creativity is like, how do I get the most views possible? How do I make the most people want to click this and sit for every second of it? You know, how do I get that good peak retention? Right? That's the creativity. The creativity is not, how do I make the most personal video to me? But once again, it's like, that's what the people want, bro. That's what they want to see. That's what they're watching. I mean, look, just look at it on a pure numbers perspective, you know? And I'm not saying these guys are wrong. They're right, but they definitely realize why that is the case, you know? Like you look at, let's see, Abroad in Japan. Okay, very personal channel. Let's see how he's doing. All right, this video, well, these are like actually all MrBeast thumbnails. What the f? He just is MrBeastifying his content a little bit, but okay. This guy traveling in Japan, making like heartfelt videos about it, right? These videos are getting, you know, a couple million views. That's pretty good. MrBeast, 150 million views every single video. That's it. The Tom doing the Charleston meme is still massive. No, it's not. The meme is over. It's dying. It's over, dude.
There's no story being pursued.
There's no story.
There's just money, give, problem fixed, goodbye.
I remember I watched a video, and it was like I went to a desert island or something. I escaped to a desert island for a day.
Yeah.
And it was just lots. It starts with like a shot of a CGI building in the distance. A lot of people don't realise that a lot of those openings are like CGI hotels and boats and things.
Yeah.
And you just see things happen, events that are impressive. Like I bought $1 million yacht and I sat around it. I rented $1 million yacht or whatever. But you just feel nothing because there's no emotion, no story, no plot behind it. It's just things happening. And he might well be. And when I had that management call with the Reed guy, who he's now doesn't work with, I said, "Oh, you know, it'd be really cool to see Jimmy, you know, first YouTuber in space." And he was like, "We're thinking of doing it." But you know, if he goes into space or he goes to the moon, I am literally on the moon right now, and it'll be so fucking boring. You'll want to yourself. It'll be so as you'll look at it, you'll feel nothing. It's just big acts with nothing at the hollow center of it. And this is what I just hate it. I hate what YouTube's become. I think about just stopping.
Well, I don't think this is like what YouTube has become. Like, you can still do the very personal content where you just talk about how you feel, or you make a high production thing that's really cool that like communicates more of your personality. There's just both. There's just both of it. It both exists. And I don't really like MrBeast videos. I don't really want to watch them, but you know, it's there because the people love it, dude. The people love it. They eat it up. They eat up that slop. You know, this is like, look at what food has become. McDonald's sells these burgers and makes so much money doing it, while the mom and pop shop is not making nearly as much. It's like, well, what do you expect? This is like people listening to Despacito and saying music is bad now. Yeah, essentially. Like, I understand their frustration, but like what? I don't know. What what do you expect? Are you absolutely in love with the most popular music right now? Or do you love Pitbull? Or do you like a much smaller artist that probably is more personal and really gets you going? Like, this is just a function of the average person and what they want to see.
Doing everything and f***ing off to an island without internet so often.
The thing is, you can do both. I mean, you can try, but if you do both, you'll never get as big as you could be if you're MrBeast doing the least personal content. And you never get as much respect and swag as you could by making the most personal content, right?
Because of this.
Well,
but I realise the audience, the kids, mostly under 14, naive, don't understand what's going on. But
I think
they'll be eating Lunchly and they'll be drinking Prime. And the next
I love Lunchly and I love Prime so much.
generation is, for lack of a better word. So,
yeah, I mean, there's some videos where I feel like he's done a decent job of like telling the story, but there's other times where I'm like, man, I feel like the need to have the video be about what you're doing and yourself is sometimes the thing that holds back the video, and it makes it kind of boring. I feel like there's so many interesting stories that other people have that you could show off if you gave them the time. But retention, it's all about retention.
A good documentary. You tell the story of other people, and you get into their life, and you tell that. And he is in a prime position to do that. You know, if I had 300 million subscribers, an unlimited budget, $46 million expenditure per year, whatever it was. Last year, I think he said he spent 45 million. You know.
So I think you get the idea. You know, I understand a lot of the complaints. I do think some of it is kind of like, I don't know, what I've heard before, right? But now this guy's made a video called The Awful Truth About YouTube's Biggest Influencers. And I'm curious what he has to say now, a few months later, talking about, I guess, some of the backlash he got.
You know, we're often taught in Hollywood films that the bad guys don't get to win, that there's consequences for your actions, right? But the older you get, the more you realise that simply isn't the case. I've been lucky to do this 12 years now, and in that time I've witnessed YouTube empires rise and fall.
Dude, this guy's like, this guy's like waking up. He's like, wait, real life is not a movie. Real life is not like cartoons. Avatar: The Last Airbender is not real life. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean. Maybe I'll keep watching the video.
Hell, I've witnessed my stomach and waistline rise and fall, subsequently rise again, unfortunately. And amidst those 12 years, I can pinpoint the worst moment of my whole career without hesitation, the absolute low point of it all. 6 years ago, on a cold winter's morning, a Japanese news crew turned up to my apartment from the biggest morning news show in the country called Mezamashi Terebi. I'd been contacted because something awful had happened, and I'd been asked to explain why. One of the world's biggest YouTubers at the time had turned up and done some really messed up things, from throwing Pokemon balls at police officers and...
Oh, he got interviewed by the news to talk about what Logan Paul did? He's like their white boy representation. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Terrorizing the public, to going into a forest and filming something so horrific. I can't even explain what it is because it would instantly have this video blacklisted.
Well, you never stand next to a dead guy?
I was really embarrassed to be associated with this in any way. But as a foreign YouTuber in Japan, I was the closest thing the TV show had to the guy in question, right? And I had to sit and explain to several million people why a foreign YouTuber would so brazenly exploit the dead for views. Not a normal situation, right? Sitting in your apartment, 9 AM, surrounded by cameras, having to explain that. What do you even say? You know? And in a normal world, what that guy did would have been a career-ending move.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
If not that, then perhaps another video he posted just weeks later, tasering dead animals and attempting...
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Tasering dead animals, I don't care. I don't care. Maybe it's just because I watched Jackass. I don't care that he tasered a dead animal. I'm gonna be honest. This does not bother me. I mean, scooping the koi fish out, killing animals is bad, but if it's you're tasing a corpse, like Logan Paul's not funny, but I think that could be funny in some world. Like Filthy Frank used to do videos where he would. You guys remember the video where he took dead rats and put it inside of a wrap and he tried to feed it to a midget guy? That was hilarious. The dead rat shall not be disrespected. Do not piss on the dead rat's family. The dead rat's family watched on in horror in that video.
to give CPR to a koi carp that he pulled out of the water.
Lapse in my judgment.
Bad take, that's disgusting. It's disgusting to tase a dead rat. This is a major concern for you.
And in the years since, the headlines surrounding this guy have continued to spell bad news. There's not been much in the way of a redemption arc.
Severe lapse in my judgment.
With all that in mind, you can probably imagine my disappointment when MrBeast, the world's biggest YouTuber, partnered with this guy, Logan Paul, and endorsed him to an audience of over 300 million subscribers, many of them kids. Now it's an exciting month for MrBeast, particularly with the impending launch of the somewhat controversial Amazon TV show.
This guy says, like, in a normal world that his career would be over, but, like, what did you expect? I guess, like, did he just wake up and realize that sometimes the baddies win? Rare Tom L. Take. Who cares that you're tasing a dead rat? I do not care. I do not care that he tased a dead rat. This does not bother me. This is not a concern for me. Are you mad at Filthy Frank? Don't these guys like Filthy Frank? Don't they praise him and talk about how funny he was? I don't. The dead body thing is, like, obviously, that's not good. That's very not good. I don't like that, but it's a dead rat. If you're hurting animals, period, the psychopath behavior, dead or alive. How are you hurting an animal if it's dead? How is that psychopath behavior? It was cringe when Frank did it. I thought it was hilarious, and so did everyone else. It's kind of weird, like, why? It's funny. It's like edgy. It's weird and subversive and strange and uncouth. Maybe that's why. What? I don't care about the dead rat. I'm sorry. I don't care about the dead rat. The dead rat does not bother me. Dead rat thing was a dumb backlash. Plus, wasn't Logan on a bit of a redemption arc? I mean, he was trying. I don't know that it was a real redemption arc. I don't think Logan Paul became a good person, but yeah.
In which he allegedly spent $14 million constructing what appears to be a rainbow-coloured prison camp. Honestly, until this year, I didn't really have any opinions on MrBeast. His content isn't really aimed at me. Still, you look at the 300 million subscribers, the 200 million views per video, and it's hard to deny that that is an impressive achievement. And you have to wonder what drives someone to want all that. You know, where does that motivation come from? We're told that it comes from a desire to make the world a better place. It's about inspiring kids and highly publicised charity work. And even a cold-hearted cynic like me wants to think that the person at the top has a noble ambition, you know, that they're guided by something more.
I mean, if I had to speculate, his ambition is probably like some kind of weird Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates type thing where he just wants to build the biggest empire possible, right? That's always been my kind of impression of him. He's very just like, how big can I get with the audience I have and the opportunity I have? Like, how can I get to this crazy level, right? I feel like that's always been my understanding of MrBeast.
More than just a masked ambition for money, views, power. Maybe he really is a force for good. Oh.
People calling it psychopath behavior. You people are... okay, psychopath behavior to tase a dead rat? When I was like 15 years old, me and my friends were at summer camp, and we found a dead raccoon, and we sprayed it with... what is it called? It wasn't bug spray. It was something like that was an aerosol. And we had like a flame, because we were around, and we sprayed the dead raccoon, and we were like, whoa, that's crazy, and then we walked away. Are all three of those children psychopaths? Oh my god, What have you done to the dead raccoon? No. No. You sprayed the dead raccoon with Raid. Psychopathic behavior will be hurting and killing animals that are alive? Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Oh wait, he just wanted to sell snack boxes to children.
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
Snack boxes that quickly appeared in photos shared online to have practically turned mould into a flavour profile. Yummy yum yum, shut up and give it to your kids. It's got an electrolyte in it. He partnered with a guy who not only did all the awful that I just listed off, but who recently turned one of the most important moments of his life, his wife's pregnancy, into one big billboard for the aforementioned.
Okay, this is cringe, but this is like, to me, like the least important criticism of MrBeast, right? Or of Logan Paul, rather. Like, this is weird. This is odd. I don't know what is in his mind that made him do this, but like, is this the big, like, this is like worth mentioning in this video? He's like, not only did he film a dead body, he showed his child next to Lunchley. It's like, what? I mean, I feel like that's not the biggest thing in the world, you know? There's probably other stuff to talk about here. I feel like CryptoZoo is probably a much bigger deal.
Snack box. At first, it was very strange. Like, how could MrBeast, a guy who is famed for being a genius, who mastered the algorithm, how could he not calculate that partnering with such a man would be anything other than a idea? But perhaps it shouldn't come as a surprise, as this is literally the guy who once made a video saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. Several months before Logan Paul himself went into a Japanese forest and gave the world 100,000 reasons to forget his name. Who knows, saying a name 100,000 times, maybe it does something to you, you know, like a kind of crappy version of Inception. Maybe that's why he partnered with him. Or maybe
this video is very weird.
maybe it was the fact that Logan Paul's drink Prime is selling hundreds.
Yeah, he wanted to make money. What yeah, I'm sorry. Do people not realize that the people at the top, their biggest concern is making money? Maybe he wanted to make money off his content, like, but whatever. So, oh my god, dude, shocking. Does this guy didn't know anything about Hollywood? I don't understand.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. And such a partnership was an opportunity simply too good to ignore. Now, until this year, any criticism of MrBeast was immediately the subject of much backlash, particularly due to his extensive charity work.
I don't think it's just due to that. I think a lot of the criticism was like, you're a capitalist, which this is kind of reading us to a little extent, right? It's like, guys, MrBeast made videos that made money, and he should have called out capitalism and supported Bernie Sanders. I disagree with this, so it's pearl clutching. It is pearl clutching to care about the dead rat. I'm sorry, it is. I do not give a fuck about the dead rat. I do not care at all about the dead rat. I don't care about the dead rat. I'm sorry. Logan Paul found a dead rat and tased it. I don't care about the dead rat. Dead rat does not bother me. That is pearl clutching, actually. Yes, that is pearl clutching.
You know, philanthropy can be a very powerful defensive mechanism. You know, I still remember a year ago the backlash Jacksepticeye Sean received after he famously said that MrBeast was ruining YouTube and that YouTube became more about money than it did about having fun. Agree with it or not, it's not an unreasonable opinion to have, and we're all entitled to have our opinions, right? But like clockwork, MrBeast called him out in a now deleted and somewhat childish outburst, saying, "So I ruined YouTube because I didn't buy a mansion and a sports car. I inspired kids to help people." Oh, he says that out loud.
I mean, that is a very cringe response. I'll agree with that, 1000%. MrBeast's response there was cringe. I still don't really agree with what Jack said, but MrBeast's response is cringe. And you know what? If you want to make the point that he was using his charity stuff and inspiring kids to dispel criticism, that's probably true. That's probably true. But at the same time, he does have a right to respond to the claim, right? MrBeast will never dodge the cringe allegations, and that I 1000% agree with.
And yet, literally last month, it was revealed he did have a sports car because he got done for speeding in it.
Okay, but this isn't something he's hidden. Like, you're making it out like this is a hidden thing. He's talked publicly about how he bought a BMW i8. He sped in it. Oh my god, 20-year-old sped once. Oh my god. Cam, he sucks, dude. I don't think speeding's a good thing. You shouldn't do it. It's not cool. But, like, when you're a 20-year-old who makes a bunch of money and then buys, like, a fast car, like, you're probably going to speed in it once. It's probably going to happen. This isn't a thing he's hidden. He said he sold the car because he realized it didn't make him happy. Like, this is, it's just a little bit, like, it's a little bit try hard. It's a little bit reductive. It's kind of cringe.
complete with a nice clean-shaven mugshot to match. In an also now-deleted video where he bought a BMW i8, a $100,000 car.
So I guess I'll show you guys the inside. So...
Which I...
Dude, when MrBeast was 19 years old, he made money and he bought a very expensive car. And now he talks about how he doesn't buy more expensive cars. This is disgusting. Oh my God. Like, there's so much to criticize MrBeast for. This guy isn't even getting into, like, the allegations about him. I mean, I doubt he can in this 11-minute, 39-second video. I doubt he's going to go super in-depth. His criticisms seem very, like... It's just like the easiest like pot shot you can possibly take. This not saying anything substantive, really. I didn't know MrBeast was black. You never know, dude. You learn something new every day.
I think fits the definition of a sports car. Allegedly, he drove it 122 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. And look, granted, he was a young man. He's come a long way since, and we all make mistakes. I myself have got a speeding ticket or two. Not for doing 122 miles per hour, but I don't think my K car could do that speed if I pushed it off a cliff. But that reply of his always stuck with me. Right there, it was the story of how MrBeast kind of sees himself. And as somebody who did charity fundraising myself this year, you know, cycling for 2 weeks, raising $1 million, I think it's great that you can use charity as a sort of shield. The next time somebody criticises me or my videos or anything about me, my hair, I could be like, fuck you, I cycled on a bicycle for 2 weeks, I raised $1 million for charity, I inspired kids. Oh, he says that out loud. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a rant about this on a...
But the thing is, like, okay, so using the charity thing as a defense to, or using, like, I inspired kids as a defense to, like, serious allegations about him is a big deal. Like, that would be cringe as fuck. But the thing he was responding to was Jack saying he ruined YouTube because he prioritized success and getting the most views possible over showing his personality in videos. And ultimately, like, what other response are you supposed to have other than, like, yeah, I did do that? You know what I mean?
Stream after I drank a little bit too much caffeine. And now people have heard the story of how I became Logan Paul's PR man. Hopefully people understand why I had that rant, both here and there. It sort of went viral online on YouTube and Twitter and a few places. And it was quite interesting seeing the response. I also felt quite exposed because, you know, it's easier just to say nothing on these sort of matters. Keep your head down, like most people. Even doing this video now, very stupid of me. This video will open myself up to more scrutiny than I would.
Guys, I'm calling out MrBeast, one of the most hated YouTubers in the world right now. I'm based, dude. Thank God. Look at me, man. I'm gonna get a lot of for making this video. I'm gonna get a lot of for making this video, guys. But I'm the one that's willing to tell the truth about how MrBeast sped in his car when he was 19 years old. I'm a martyr. I'm a martyr, dude.
I would have otherwise had. I had a few people sort of distance themselves from me, which is fair enough. He's a powerful guy, old MrBeast, and entire companies are built around him. You know, people don't want to burn that bridge. I also witnessed some comments saying the Logan Paul thing was 6 years ago, the Forest incident, it's in the past, we have to forgive, we have to...
I mean, that is a dumb thing to say. I mean, you could forgive and forget if he, like, totally reformed and was, like, a great person now, but the thing about Logan is, like, he has a repeated list of bad behaviors that you can document that shows, in my mind, that while he may not do the specific action he got backlash for, he will still engage in behavior if he thinks he won't get for it, right? So Logan Paul, like, I think defending that guy is really dumb.
Forget. Time to move on. And I agree, if somebody shows remorse for their actions and learns from it and moves on, then he should be able to forgive them, even for something perhaps as bad as all the stuff he did in Japan. But type Logan Paul's name in online, and the headlines aren't exactly a source of inspiration. It's never too late to turn it around, of course. Last year I made a video on two influencers who were kind of the spiritual successors to Logan Paul, who came to Japan and did some really stupid things. One of them didn't learn from his errors and is now in a South Korean...
Is that Johnny Somali? Dude, that guy deserves to be locked up. Thank God. Thank God, man. Is it bad to say I don't really care about Logan Paul controversies other than Japan and crypto? I just don't care. No, I think that's fine and probably a relatively unterminally online take. I mean, there are probably other things to criticize Logan Paul for. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but 1,000%, Logan Paul's done a lot of things you should call out and criticize. But with some of it, it's like, you know, sometimes I feel like people are grasping at straws.
Jail. And the other guy...
Like when they tried to say that he tried to kill his dog by pushing him off the boat, and then it turned out that he actually didn't, and the dog himself jumped, and they were trying to prevent the dog from jumping off the boat. I was like... With stuff like that, it's like you're kind of grasping for anything.
Who rode a bullet train without paying, went back home to Cyprus to become a member of parliament in the EU. Yes, it seems Phidias, the man who treated Japanese infrastructure like his personal Disneyland fast pass, is now the Che Guevara of Cyprus. But whether I like it or not, and I definitely don't, this drama crap matters, because when I run into a friend, family, viewer, the first question they always ask is, oh, what do you think about that drama on YouTube? What do you think about MrBeast's mouldy lunch?
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
What do you think about Hawk Tuah coin?
Give him that hawk!
What did you think
What do you think about a Hawk Tuah coin? Okay.
of Logan Paul's brother fighting a crippled pensioner and acting like it was somehow a victory for the ages? The influences we see, the drama that unfolds, it all matters because that is how people perceive YouTube in the modern era. And this week's most notable controversy is a good example of that, with Hawk Tuah Girl selling her audience an incredible...
Do people perceive... Is this... I feel like this is like an old hat kind of way of thinking about things. Do you guys think the average person perceives YouTube as a bad thing because Logan Paul had a controversy? Like, maybe really old people see it that way because of, like, media attention. But first of all, the media is always misrepresenting to try and, you know, sensationalize stories as much as possible. So, you know, them, they're dying anyway. You know, legacy media will be bad. But I don't think the average person has a more negative opinion of YouTube as a whole because Logan Paul did something dumb. Like, YouTube is so big, there's so many different creators. I think at this point that mentality is probably mostly going away. I don't think the average, like, YouTube's so big, I don't think the average person is like, I saw what Hawk Tuah Girl did, and I will never watch YouTube again now, and all YouTubers are like that. I don't think the average person's seeing things that way, but I could be wrong.
Incredible new cryptocurrency that hit a market cap of $500 million and which crashed shortly thereafter, losing 95% of its value and leaving thousands of her viewers out of pocket. What makes it crazy is how she condensed the 5-year lifespan of a modern influencer into just like 2 or 3 months. Step 1, have a viral moment. Step 2, have a podcast. Step 3, unleash a cryptocurrency, which quickly goes wrong. And you know, it can be easy to mock the people that bought the coins from this cryptocurrency, right? It shouldn't take a Harvard scholar to work out this isn't somebody who should be masterminding a currency. But the really sad thing is her viewership trusted her. And whatever you think of those viewers, it's kind of sad, really. Now, when my initial rant got picked up on stream a few weeks ago, it was sort of misconstrued. People thought my argument was making money is bad, or making money is bad as an influencer, which simply isn't the case. And if it was the argument I was making, it would be very hypocritical as somebody who's done sponsored segments myself. If I hadn't said yes to a few sponsors, I couldn't have built this epic studio. I couldn't have hired a team to create Japan's largest travel series, Journey Across Japan. We had 6...
If someone really thought the Hawk Tuah coin was going to take off, they deserve the scam. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm tempted to say that because, like, I mean, I don't know. I get your argument, but at the same time, for the average person watching Hawk Tuah coin, or sorry, watching Talk Tuah, they're probably not like a CopyZilla viewer who's like reading about crypto scams and is aware of this. I mean, the thing is, the marketers themselves said, we're trying to market this to the average person, not to the average crypto fan, right? So they were necessarily trying to get the least knowledgeable people involved in the online world and in the crypto space to invest in this coin, right? That's what they said themselves. So, like, you could say they're dumb for spending money on that, but at the end of the day, they were still trying to target the most vulnerable minds possible. So, you know, I still think there's a point to be made about how, like, I don't know if they deserve the scam. I don't know if I'd agree with that. They are dummies, but I don't know if they deserve it. You know, just because someone's dumb doesn't mean they deserve something bad happening to them.
63 episodes, and only one of them had a sponsor segment in. Very proud of that. And I couldn't have spent 6 weeks in autumn producing a documentary about a Japanese town that tragically got completely destroyed in an earthquake. Please watch the documentary if you see it come up next week on YouTube. It's far more important to me than this. But the argument I hope to make wasn't a controversial one. It's making money with principles matters, and partnering with people that don't mock the dead in a forest matters. And if the people at the top of this platform with unimaginable reach don't have a good moral compass to guide them, then we all lose for it, particularly the next generation growing up watching this, especially if they're raised on a diet of lunchly. My message...
I doubt Lunchly is that good for people, but I don't think that the youth is because they're eating Lunchly instead of Lunchables, right? Like, the mold situation is bad. They got to fix that. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, as disgusting as it is a very small percentage of the actual product that had mold in it, you know? It is. And on top of that, like, the idea that, like, the media has ever been, or, like, the media we consume has ever been, like, a paragon of virtue, as opposed to, like, the lowest common denominator rising to the top, is kind of silly. They should have talked to a financial advisor. True. That's not the point. What is the point, Barry Howden? Because I see a lot of people always, like, every generation is like, the next generation is... It's like, are they really, though? Are they really? Like, I don't really think so. I think it'll be okay, man. I don't think we live in this dystopia where because people watch MrBeast, the world is now. The average person's always been an idiot. He's saying the youth is cooked because the people on top are morally bankrupt. Yeah, but like, do you know anything about like politicians? do you know anything about like what politicians are like? Like the people who are really at the top are also morally bankrupt. You know, maybe I'm just having like a very cringe, like, oh, you just realize this take, but like, I don't know. I've just never seen the people at the top of YouTube or the top of any industry as like the most morally sane people. It's about morals and who you partner with. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like so black-pilled or something that I'm not demanding a higher standard here. But I guess I just exist in a world, in my opinion, where like, should the world be a better place? Yeah, but I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting MrBeast to be a cool guy, honestly, at all. How do you fix it then? I mean, I think calling it out can be important, but you know, virtue signaling about it is probably not going to fix it. I'll say that much.
The message this Christmas is simple. Choose very carefully who you watch on YouTube, on social media in general, because where your views go really matters. It is an endorsement of that channel, of those people. Obviously, don't watch me. I'm too grumpy and I swear too much. I only let my imaginary children watch 2 YouTube channels. Number 1, Captain Disillusion, and number 2, reruns of Tom Scott. Please, Tom, come back. It's been too long. And this Christmas, when millions of people sit down to watch MrBeast hosting a game show on Amazon with thousands of contestants jumping around carefully choreographed explosions in a field, hoping to be noticed by Senpai, why not put on Home Alone instead? It'll probably be a lot more entertaining, and there's no risk of running into Logan Paul along the way as well. Thanks as always for putting up with me, guys, and
I understand his frustration, but I guess I just don't expect anything more than this. Like, I guess I just have no expectation at all. Maybe just because I make a lot of videos about YouTube drama, so like MrBeast being at the top and being like not a very virtuous guy is like the least of my concerns when there's like giggly goon clown running around. But yeah, thank you for using your large platform to call out these scumbags. I'm gonna be honest, I think for the most part, I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference, man. It's a good thing to do. It's cool. But I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, unfortunately. You know, I empathize with his frustration, but a lot of it just seems kind of like a nebulous, like, I don't like that the guy at the top is MrBeast and he makes cringe content and children's minds are rotting or something. What were kids watching in the past? Was watching the Jerry Springer show, like, making them great people? Have you seen Dark Viper AU's latest video? The problem with it is that it's 4 hours long, and I don't want to watch Dark Viper talk for 4 hours. That's the main problem. Maybe I'll watch when like someone condenses it or when Willie Mac Show responds, but like the video is 4 hours long. It's 4 hours long. I'm not watching that. I'm just not. And I don't know. Some of the stuff in this video is like, he tased a dead rat. I don't care that he tased a dead rat. It does not bother me that he tased a dead rat at all. It's kind of in bad taste, but like, I don't know, whatever. Watch it over 4 days like a base chud. There's no way that if you think it makes you a base chud to watch 4 hours of Dark Viper AU content, it's over for you. Did you hear about Daily Wire booting Brett Cooper and replacing her with a carbon copy woman down to the mannerisms and everything? Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. But like, there's not a lot for me to say apart from what is the name of this? Okay, someone in chat has to know this. You know, I'll just ask Okinaru. What was that TikTok the guy made trying to expose Daily Wire? I need a link. She didn't get fired. It seems like she left on her own volition. I mean, that's what she said. That's my understanding of it. Could be wrong, but that's my understanding of it. Anyway, I'm going to get off stream. I got other stuff to do, but hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all in the next stream. Bye.